it's the vibe, and no, that's it, it's the vibe.
How cute is that?
Hello my darlings, it's Chanel, and today I'm starting a new segment called It's the Vibe. So I have been a member and moderator on Reddit for a very long time, and one of my favorite subreddits is books that feel like this, where basically you post images of a book you want to read. I want a book that's got this kind of vibe. So I have been helping people by recommending books for a very long time, and I thought I'm going to post some pictures and see what I'm recommended, and then read those books, and then also give you my recommendation for those images. So I'll begin by showing you the pictures that I submitted to Reddit to get books that feel like this. So it was these images. I'll be placing them up on the screen somewhere. I've had to put a little well-placed heart in a position to make sure it's safe for YouTube. And I let Reddit do its thing, and then out of all of the books that were recommended, I chose 3 to read. I will say that the book that was recommended the most to me was Gideon the Ninth. I have already read that book. I can see a little bit of the vibes there, but I'm not getting the typical religious vibe and the very feminine energy from that recommendation. But I will tell you about which books I chose to read from the selection that was given to me. And I'm going to do that in order from the book that I least enjoyed to the book that I most enjoyed. I was recommended The Blind Owl by Sadeh Hadayat. And in this book, you have a melodramatic man artist who one day, whilst looking out of his window, spies a beautiful angel lady standing under a cypress tree, and he becomes obsessed. And then this angel lady ends up deceased on his bed. And what does he do with deceased angel lady? Well, it seems that he likes to cuddle corpses, and he was then grabbing out his sketchbook. "I'ma draw you like my dead girls, Rose." After that, he does some things to her body, during which he finds this ancient vase that has literally upon it the drawing he just made of dead angel lass. And he decides the best way to puzzle this out is to smoke a shitload of opium, because clever. And then after that, after his drug binge, I'm assuming that what he's doing is hallucinating, because he starts talking to this owl-shaped shadow on the wall and reminisces about lovely memories, like the night he forced himself on his wife, and whom he only refers to as the bitch, darling nickname, and whom is also his foster sister. He kept it in the family with his marital choice. After this event, said bitch avoids him entirely, and he don't like that. So the way that he reacts is to mostly rot in bed a la Grandpa Joe from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This dude is basically losing the plot and paranoid AF, and the plot becomes incredibly fever dreamy with a very disorienting narrative. I would say that the major themes in this book are ones of loneliness, death, guilt, anger, and regular existential life crises. This book has a lot of repeating words and phrases, and initially I thought it could have been attributed to the fact that it's a translated book, but no. This author is doing it deliberately. And I thought, why? And then I thought maybe to symbolize the kind of loop effect you sometimes get on massive drug binges. But either way, whether there was a meaning behind his repetitive use of words and phrases or not, it was fucking irritating. And the narrator himself, unreliable, first of all, unlikable, and basically an original incel that I detested. He was just throwing himself a very whiny pity party. And despite the fact that this book was only 128 pages, it took me 3 days to push through it. I was literally doing anything else that I could to not pick it up. I crocheted like a heathen and ended up giving myself a nice wrist injury. And that was more pleasurable than the experience of reading this book. There is lore behind this book. And the lore behind this book is that it supposedly triggered a spate of Sui tides in its home country of Iran, which also included the author's own choice to end their mortal existence. I don't understand why. I don't think that they off themselves because the book was bad. Obviously, it hit them, struck them, broke them in a particular way. I don't know. I don't get why, honestly, why this book started that trend. All I know is I don't get it and I don't like it. And in terms of how it relates to the imagery that I put up, very loosely, in terms of the maybe religious aspect, because he did envision an angel and then he went on to have, you could say, a spiritual awakening, insight, fever, but I think it was just a drug fugue. I think it was just the massive amounts of opium that was coursing through his system, causing him to be massively delulu. Also, the reason why I really don't think this book suited the prompts is because I specifically chose pictures of badass women, and the way that women were treated and depicted in this book, not cool, dude. Not cool. Was not cool. But as always, there are different books for different chooks, and even though I utterly despised this book, read it if you like hollow laughs, bitter cucumbers, and poisoned wine. The next book that was recommended to me was Vita Nostra by Marina Dyachenko, Sergei Dyachenko, and translated by Maitov Hersey. Okay, this is a big book. It's, I guess, classified as dark academia fantasy. You have a young girl who's living with her mother, and they're on a summer holiday. And one day she encounters this really odd, unsettling man tailing her. She brings up her concerns to her mother. Her mother goes and talks to the man and brushes off her daughter's paranoia as misguided. But the man does end up eventually isolating her, and it's not forcing, but it's manipulating through fear. But he manipulates her through fear to complete these inane tasks. What are these tasks? One, for instance, is that every day she has to get up at the ass crack of dawn, go to the beach, strip down to be completely naked, and then swim in the frigid waters to touch the red buoy, and then swim back. And she has to do this until he tells her to stop. After every task is completed, she throws up coins. He tells her to keep those coins. And then she does want to quit. And he said, if you do that, bad things will happen to people you love. Of course, she's like, you know what? I don't believe him. I'm going to stop this, because the next tasks that he assigns her is to run every day, and then she must take a piss in a bush. So naturally you'd think. So we're supporting her in her decision to be like, you know what, now fuck this weird shit. What am I doing this for? Like, what's this man gonna do? Well, then the next day, her soon-to-be stepdad has a near-fatal heart attack, and creepy guy's like, well, I did tell you, I told you, and you didn't do it, so that's on you. And then thusly she gets roped in to this bizarre hazing ritual to gain admittance into this very bizarre university. So this is forced enrollment with sadistic teachers, and all of the students there basically end up with Stockholm Syndrome. They have to do this very abstract learning, repeating, it's a lot of repetition in this one, repeating CDs over and over again, writing nonsensical, memorizing nonsensical sentences. It is very weird, and what makes it harder to understand is, I would say it's the translation, but I don't know. But the dialogue and the way this is written is so stilted and so off. It's just off. There are also 0 chapter breaks. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. Just like the tasks in this keep going and going and going and going. The book also keeps going and going and going. It is too damn long. It is too damn long. It did not need to be this long. The book, for me, was just overly repetitive. And on top of that, what's the plot? What was the plot? Besides being an abstract, conceptual, pseudo-psychological piece of bullshit. I don't understand all the 5-star reviews. This is the thing with books, I guess. It's so odd how some people can have one experience and others can have an entirely antithesis experience. Contrary. Let's go with contrary experience. Because honestly, for me, my experience with it was that reading this book to me felt like I too was undergoing these abusive, repetitive tasks the students were assigned to break them. Me liking this book would be asking for the impossible. I also feel like it's a bit problematic in that the majority of the book is that that the people in this were just mindlessly obeying fear-directed commands. Like everything in this book just felt problematic. In my humble opinion, there was a lot of essay, obviously a ton of abuse. The last line of this book sort of insinuated a biblical component, which I guess does make it like the images. I will say that the images I picked could be applied to the vibe of this book and to the content of the book. It's not what I was asking for. It's not what I had in mind, but I can see why another reader would say, oh, these images are sort of similar to this particular book. But I didn't get it. I don't get it. This is, I guess, you get it, you don't, and I did not. I absolutely do not understand the hype. Like, the writing style was bonkers and strange. The characters were all unlikable. The situation was hella uncomfy, and the reading experience was exhausting. But read it if you like gold coins, linguistics, and negative reinforcement. The final book that I read for this reading vlog was Goddess of Filth by V. Castro. I do like the cover. And this is touted as a kind of reworking of The Craft, which was one of my favorite movies growing up as a goth teen. So it did draw my attention with that. And you've got a group of teenage girls and they decide to do a little hocus pocus, and they inadvertently end up summoning a sin-eating demon. Said demon possesses one of the more chaste girls, who then goes full exorcist. But after turning on the lights, everything stops. So the girls just kind of brush it off as a bad period and hormones and over-emotional shit. Because clearly that's what was going on. But that was not what was going on, because Babes is now subletting her soul to an ancient entity, is wearing black lipstick, free bleeding in the bushes, talking in ancient languages, and pleasing herself around the clock, day or night, inside or out. She seems to be having a really good time. The people around her, not so much. This book has a ton of religious guilt, sexual exploration, coming of age, womanhood, racial stereotypes, and the importance of storytelling. For me personally, the book felt a little bit slapdash and lacking common sense. The pace was incredibly fast. The opening scene is a little disconcerting. It kind of happens rapidly, and it's such a pivotal moment to be done with so quickly. And I guess the only other issue I had with the messaging was that Fernanda, the possessed lady, only gained control over her own life by ceding her control to another being. And to me, that felt a bit like a cop-out and not the rah-rah feminism I was thinking this book was trying to promote. And whilst the story idea was really interesting and cool, the execution was a little bit sloppy. So I did want more from it, and it could have been great, but it was still entertaining and I still enjoyed my time reading it. Do I think this suits the imagery? 100%. Nailed it. It does have the vibes that the images were giving. Completely. It's just, like I said, it just, for me, just needed a bit more finesse and a bit more polishing, but otherwise a good read. And I would recommend it to you if you like Chicanas, The Craft, and White Cotton Knickers. Now, what books would I have recommended for these images? The one that came to mind immediately was Vespertine by Margaret Rogerson and The Flying Nun by Cody Goodfellow, both of which are books that I also enjoyed. Despite the fact that two of the books are some of my worst reads of this year, I still really enjoy doing this. It's interesting to see the other books people recommend, and there were some other ones that were recommended to me that I hadn't read, and I'll put a picture of them up, and I am adding them to my TBR because they do sound interesting. Maybe I should have chosen those over The Blind Owl and Vita Nostra, but that's the way the cookie crumbled in this case. But yes, I'm still going to be reading those at some point, and when I do, I will let you know if I thought that they were actually a good rec for the images I posted. I'm also going to try and dress like the vibe as well when I do these vlogs, just to add that extra bit of fun and creativity for moi. So that's what today's look is all about. But today I am heading out. I'm going into the CBD. I'm going to go out for lunch. I'm also going into Metropolis Bookstore because I do need to buy some more books for some upcoming Get Real Weird With It vlogs, because even though I source mostly from the library for Get Real Weird With It and Kinky Corner, I have to purchase a lot of the books because my library does not have the ones that I am looking for. So I'm going to see what's there today. So I will say goodbye to you here, but I will leave you with footage. Am I going to sneeze? No, and that is so unsatisfying. I'm so unsatisfied. Oh, now I feel it's just circulating within me, you know? It's just right there. Come on, bro. Oh, well, it is what it is. But I'll leave you here with some footage from my day out and about. But I would highly recommend this subreddit thread. It's a great way to find books based on the vibes, based on the imagery, based on the feeling of what you're wanting to read. I post there myself and I also reply. So each month I will be doing this little segment where I read books based on images. So to sum up the books that I read for this reading vlog: The Blind Owl by Sadeh Hadayat, and this wins the award for being a waste of my reading time. Vita Nostra by Marina Dyachenko, Sergei Dyachenko, translated by Maitav Herzi. What do these win the awards for? What do these win the awards for? What did I write? And Goddess of Filth by V. Castro, which is my favorite read, and this wins the award for most successful summoning. Hello my darlings, I'm back. So let me tell you about my adventures and then do a library haul. So while I was in the tram, I saw this lip look and I thought, I would like to do that. And so I went into Mecca and none of the brown lip liners that were even close to suitable were there. They were all missing and they didn't put in a new one. So they told me, head over to Mecca. They'll probably be able to help you. So I went to Mecca and I showed the lady the look. And this is what she gave me. I don't think it's the same. So she gave me cork and honey nut. I personally, when she did it on hand, I said, oh, I think cork's too dark and honey nut is fine. She's like, no, it's not too dark. What do you guys think? I think it's too dark. If you guys know of a lip liner that's closer to the shade of the image, please let me know. I think the honey nut is fine. It may be a little bit light, not pink enough, but maybe it's fine. But let me know because I still would like to try this look, but I'll find a use for this, just not this look. I then went into Metropolis. I'm having a POTS episode because the weather got unexpectedly hot, so my ears are currently blocked. I can't hear myself. And my heart is racing. I apologize if it's fucking up my energy. But I bought myself a 5-star book. So this is Hera Lindsay Bird by Hera Lindsay Bird, which is one of my favorite poetry collections of all time. So I'm happy to add this to my 5-star shelf. I also took some video of some other books that caught my eye. Pretty much all of them were non-fiction, funnily enough. But I'm going to read up on them more before I decide whether or not I do want to buy them for a weird book vlog. But I currently have, oh, I just pulled a thread on my new dress. Lovely. I currently have a very happy problem, and that is that I have too many library physical books, ebooks, and audiobooks all at once. So I am going to have to be very picky with which ones I decide to read, because there is absolutely no way I can read all of these books in the next 3 weeks. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I'm having mostly deluges of library books coming in, and then nothing, and then another massive tsunami of literature. But I'm going to do the physical books haul for you right now. Let me know down below which ones you think I should prioritize, even though you will see this video in 2 weeks' time. I'll still have a week. So we've got Dolly Alderton's Good Material. I tried Dolly's other book, didn't like it, but I've heard so many people rave about this one, so I thought I'd give it a go. I'm not going to tell you what all these books are about because there's too many. There is that many. This World Is Not Yours by Kemi Ashang-Giwa. Watership Down, the graphic novel by Richard Adams. Now, one of my viewers did tell me that this is pretty graphic in terms of animal deaths and really depressing. I thought I'd give it a go because one of my favorite reads of this year, The Burrow, mentioned this a lot and was based on this a lot. So I'm going to try it. If it's too upsetting for me, obviously I will DNF it, but I thought I'd give the graphic novel a go since it just came in. Itty Bitty Kitty by Maddie Mara. So this is for indie. It's about a cat, but she's like this with books. Most of the time, she's not interested. The Universe All at Once by Salim Barakat. I really loved the cover of this one. And it's a bunch of poetry, and I love poetry books. I've got some here that I can't show you because they're for the next It's the Vibe. They've already come in, so I'm going to have to film that sooner rather than later. We have Your Soul Had a Dream, Your Life Is It by Rebecca Campbell. So she does a lot of oracle decks, and I saw that she'd written this book, so I thought I'd give it a go because I do own one of her decks. Big Fan by Alexandra Romanov. These covers are really eye-catching. Pink and red. You got me, babes. All the Dead Lie Down by Kiri Macaulay. I think this is a YA, so I might not prioritize the YA unless you've read it and you think it's great. If Only by Vigdis Hjorth. I was just trying to say it's got pink end pages. I got this for indie. This is I Am Bunny by Richard Scarry and Ol Rissam. I saw this in Metropolis bookstore, and the illustrations are so pretty. I don't know if she'll like it, but I mean, like, how gorgeous. Drag Queens Down Under, curated by Art Simone. Like, all the fabulosity in this. I can't wait. I probably will prioritize this one because I love drag queens. This is for indie. She's going to absolutely lose it. This is Nibbles, the Bedtime Book by Emma Yarlett. Nibbles, the Book Monster is one of her favorite books. It was Valentine's as well. Both of them chose to go as Nibbles, the Book Monster during book week at their school. So to see a new one, I thought I'd try it first before buying. If she loves it, I'll be purchasing it. Also for indie, we have Bird Bath by Steve Anthony. Like I said, if the books are really good, I do reviews on them to let you know you should buy it. If not, you won't see it again. This is Cookie Time by Jessie Simmer, who's the author of Not Quite Narwhal, which is one of Indie's favorite books. We own a physical copy of that one, but I do like the illustration style. This is a massive folio book. This is The English Landscape Garden, Dreaming of Arcadia. Back when my ex-husband and I were together, we did eventually have plans to fully demolish this house and build our dream home. Unfortunately, obviously getting divorced completely demolished that dream for now. But we were going to call our house Arcadia once it was redone. And we were going to do English gardens because that's the sort of style around this area. Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan. I did enjoy her other one, Summer Romance, so I thought I'd try another of her books. Modern Divination by Isa Agajanian. I got them to buy this, so hopefully it's good. Made for Love by Alyssa Nutting. So I have heard so much about her other book, Tampa, but I will not read a book about a teacher who essays her student. It's just not, I just don't want to. So I thought I'd give another of her novels a try to see if I like her style, because that's what I heard the most about that book is, besides the graphic content, the writing is fantastic. Then, that's upside down. We've got The Last Hour of the Star by Clarice Lispector. Then we have Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yum bao. So this is touted as cozy. I have seen a lot of mid reviews about this book. Also, it's going viral because the hardcover version of it has, I think, sprayed edges, illustrations, and the dust jacket can be folded up into an origami paper boat. But yeah, this is definitely going to be hit, mostly probably a meh, I would predict. If it's feeling like a meh, I will DNF it. But those are all of the books, besides some others I can't show you because they're for specialized vlogs coming up, and that's not counting the ebooks and the audiobooks that have just come in. So yes, I do have to prioritize and try and think about which books do I think could be 5 stars, or maybe I should read a chapter of all of these books and listen to a chapter of all of the books and then decide. I might do that. But now I've got to pick up my children from school, and that is everything for this reading vlog. Until next time, stay wild, star child.
It's just the vibe of the thing.